Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got ourselves a big best of 7 World Team League match between, of course, down here in the bottom right, representing DKZ Gaming, Oliveira, and in the top left, Trigger. Stay tuned. We've got Serral, we've got Reynor, we've got herO and Dark, all being the teammates of these players. Very likely for those players to come in to the next matches. It is a best of 2. The way WTL works is it's a best of 7 individual map score, for those who don't know, overall, and each series of players play 2 maps against each other. So if Oliveira wins this map, Trigger wins the next map, it's 1-1. And then say it's Reynor herO in the next match, they each win 1. We got to 2-2. And obviously the first team to 4 points does end up winning. It's been a while since I cast a WTL regular season match. Onside Gaming being the champions of the last season. Managing to, thanks to Solar, taking out Serral and a bunch of their other players, actually triumphing over Basilisk. DKZ Gaming, though, represented here by Oliveira, is one of the best teams. They are definitely top 3, even though they did finish the lowest out of the 3 teams. I think they might have got even 4th last season. But they are one of the teams that definitely could win. Having Dark and herO on a team, I mean, it's hard to look past them. And Reaper's going to go in and get out. Now, Trigger does know it's a double gas opening because the depot wall off. He's going to go Twilight Council behind this. It's an Adept into a Stalker. And it's just going to be a fast Widowmine drop opening for Oliveira. Now, Oliveira, I think some people are out there going, cool. Depending on how in touch you've been with recent StarCraft, you might think Oliveira is a top pro, just won the World Championship, what a beast. Well, no, not necessarily. He had a bit of a downswing after that massive World Championship win, despite a lot of people being big fans of him, myself included. He was struggling to not just compete at the level of being, say, a rank 15 in the world player, but especially even that, he was sometimes having some real bombing performances. He was very unhappy with it, and he said, I need to take some time to get back into the practice chamber. I can't just be playing tournaments every week. I got to rebuild. And we were a bit worried because he said, you know, personal reasons, got to take some time off. And we're like, oh no, don't retire. But recently, Oliveira's come back, and he's come back with a passion. I'm not saying he's going to win every time he plays against a Maru or a herO or a Serral or a Reynor, those very top guys, but I would say he's had some very good performances. He beat Dark 2-1 and then Solar 3-0 in a Kung Fu Cup weekly just 2 weeks ago. Like, he's actually been all over. He's been looking fantastic. So I'm excited to see if he can hold that up in TVP as well. The Chinese Terran vs. Protoss style is very fascinating. Obviously, XY, Coffee, and the other kind of old school guys in his region, I think actually have come up with a lot of builds that have influenced the meta quite a bit through Oliveira, perfecting them and showing how good they are at top level. We'll see how he plays this. Nice Stalker spread. Trigger, obviously an under... Oh, he thinks it's a Stargate opening. He's trying to lure Phoenix into the Widow Mines, but... Oh, realizing now that is not the case. He's just going to back off. Trigger is a Canadian player. Trigger is a fantastic player who's been developing his skills over the last couple of years. A lot of people, ask, they're like, why would you pick up Serral and Reynor and Trigger? And they're like, why? What the hell? Why are you picking up 2 of the absolute most kind of esteemed players in the world, so many championships, and then an up-and-comer? And obviously for Basilisk, from what I've heard from them, they want to not only support the best players in the world and buy them up with big salaries, they want to also bring up talent. And being a bunch of hardcore nerds, they looked at Trigger's results, and they looked at his climb from being a Grandmaster or an average ladder player to a Grandmaster to a Pro to beating Beyond and some of the top dogs occasionally in series. And they compared that to all of the other pros that have gone on to win championships multiple times, and they said he's actually risen up to that level faster than just about anyone else. When you look at the numbers alone, they moneyballed that shiz, you know. They went out and said, hey, Triggers actually shows way more potential. And in an age of StarCraft, when there's lots of people who are doom and glooming saying, oh, Blizzard doesn't care about StarCraft and all this stuff, people are looking past him and saying, oh, we don't care about up-and-comers. We only want to pick up the established players. And Basilisk are like, dude, this is a huge value pickup. Trigger could develop to be a massive champion, and we want to give him that support. Whether he does or not, we want to give him that support and see how well he can do. Now, this is really good multi-prong for Oliveira. So he's managed to kill 3 probes, gets a Stalker there, good blink micro for Trigger. And I got to say, Trigger's ability to handle this has been pretty good, especially because he knows there's that Marine tank push on the right side. I'm sorry for not really commentating the gameplay on screen that much, but this is a very high pressure build that a lot of players would crumble underneath. Trigger seems to have handled it perfectly. Because not only did he not overreact on the front and run into those tanks on the ledge, he's also handled this counter pressure, gets rid of the lib, gets rid of the Widowmine, Like, Oliveira just threw the kitchen sink at Trigger with a very classic build. It's Widow Mine drop on the left, Liberator on the right, Marine tank up the center. But on the other hand, I want to give props to Oliveira as well, because he didn't overcommit. A lot of Terrans just overcommit with the Marine tank and get killed by Stalkers and batteries. He said, nah, I think you're ready for it. Let's just do the harassment side of it. And at the end of the day, yes, he traded worse, but he wasted a bunch of mining time. He did cause a big disruption, and he has got his 3 barracks pumping stim, shields, medevacs, widow mines, and a 3rd command center almost finished behind it. I'd give Trigger the lead after this opening, but nothing insurmountable for Oliveira. This observer's a real problem. I think he sees it just from the way he positioned those marines, but he doesn't have a Raven. I think he's just going to wait for scan energy, and then he's going to get rid of that observer, which is especially important in a game like this. Trigger's going to be busy building Colossus. He will not be able to deal with that. Yeah, Oliveira was waiting for the scan energy. Trigger didn't want to move it in case the movement gave away that the observer was there, but does get taken down, loses some vision. I'd like to see Trigger move this observer forward and use that to replace that lacking vision. But good stalker coverage by Trigger, a fantastic defensive player. Apparently Rotterdam's faith in Trigger also was a big part of Basilisk's belief in picking him up as a player. Rotterdam, always a supporter in the young up-and-comers in the scene. Second Colossus is on the way. This is a pretty good push on the left, but I don't think this is a committed push. It feels like a distraction more. Maybe one where he sieges on the ledge. Oh, he's getting jumped on. Oliveira, careful, mate. He doesn't have any Marauders here. Marauders need to be up front to deal with the Colossus. If you don't have any Marauders, it's very hard to deal with. Double drop on the right. He should probably unload that here and then stim in. He's going to try and unload in the fog, maybe. Oh, he's diving straight to the mineral line. But look at the response time for Trigger. Even while he's getting dropped in the main, those tanks did forget to siege. Trigger is, of course, all over it. Oliveira needs to get out of there. The drop on the right side is going to start dealing with this. The Zealots, the Colossus trying to take it out right now. Sentry Stalker Colossus on the right. The drop does pull back to the low ground in the main base at the same time. Medevac's getting taken out on the right. No probes going down. Trigger is fantastically defending this push so far. And keep in mind, Trigger has become instrumental in Basilisk's success in WTL. We've seen series where teams like Team Liquid and Shopify Rebellion huge cause upsets. Like, you know, you see guys, taking maps off these players. I think Scarlet went 1-1 with Serral in one of her series. And despite that, it was Trigger who's like, well, I 2-0'd Beyond, and they won that game last season, right? And that sort of thing has happened a lot, where Trigger getting important wins has become vital to their success. Beating Ryung multiple times, for instance, and a lot of players were looking past him, but the hardcore fan base who have been watching WTL every week are really starting to appreciate that he is not someone to be overlooked. And I think Trigger matching against Oliveira might be the most doable match. I think Dark and herO are so hard for him to take down. Playing against Dark as a Protoss player is such a conundrum. I don't even, like, I'd love to talk to herO about his mindset. But anyways, let's... Oh, no. Oliveira gets caught! Big mistake for Oliveira. The Stalkers body block him. That was like a Warcraft 3 move. Teleports on him and blocks him from retreating. Widowmine drop comes in behind the base. But look, there's cannons. Trigger's building cannons in every mineral line, which will shut down the Widowmines eventually. He's on the back foot. The SCV's getting pulled to the front. Trigger is going to hammer that SCV line. He can probably pull back. I think Trigger maybe should pull back. I don't know if he can continue forward. The Zealots are going to reinforce. The Colossus is getting low there. The Viking trying to take that Colossus out, but there's nothing left on the ground. Trigger handled that beautifully. We've got to once again take a look at how calm that 5-minute period was. Because, guys, if you got Marine tank, that's a scary army if that siege is on your base. There's a Widowmine drop in the back. There's a Liberator on the right, but he moves a section of units to the right to slow the advance. He gets a few batteries at home. He's got 3 Stalkers blocking the drop, an Observer going down there. And look at the way he forces the siege, so Oliveira can't move forward, pulls back, and then handles this Lib so quickly. Look at how quick that pull is. The Stalkers get there, they damage the Lib. The Widowmine drop comes in, takes out the Medevac, blinks to dodge one of the Widowmine shots, takes the other one to the face. Immediately back to mining. The Liberator is trying to just siege itself to not die. The army has to go home. I've seen so many Protoss players die to that pressure. Trigger handled that immaculately. All right, guys, going into the next game, we got Oliveira once again going double gas in the bottom right side. I do like players mixing it up. I don't like double gas every game. Trigger in the top left, and is he going Nexus before core? My man. No, he goes Cyber Core. He has a second probe down here. The reason he sent this early is because people have been doing a late engineering bay block that starts at about a minute 20, a minute 25. So he wanted to see that ahead of time, so he would have had time to react if that was the case. Probe's going to come in for a bit of harassment. He doesn't want to get walled in. So he knows the depot will go down. So he pulls back when he sees that SCV. Oliveira is checking for proxies. And to me, this looks like he's planning to proxy a starport, right? Man. Oh, man. This Reaper is very late, guys. This is a messed up opening for Oliveira. That Reaper is 5 seconds late, which is why this reactor is 5 seconds late, which is going to slow down the Hellion drop timing. Starport. No, whoa, okay. I was like, okay, Hellion drop timing, guys. That's not a starport. That is a second factory. My man's bringing out the dirty builds. Oh, no. Like I said, I was kind of talking in between the games. I was like, that heavy pressure game one, it's what you do against a player who's up and coming, and they make like 1 or 2 small mistakes and they just lose the game, even though they always beat it in practice. But Trigger, we saw, has gone past that stage of just dying to heavy pressure builds. But it looks like Oliveira really has dirty builds in mind for this matchup right now. Probe still hanging at the front. Would have been amazing if he got in here and built a pylon to block the lift. If he actually ran in and built a pylon there, it would be a checkmate. But unfortunately, he missed the timing. Double Cyclones on the way. Stalker is defending. So we've got Twilight into second gate. Blink can defend this. And that's going to be a second reactor. Oh my god, it's such a dumb build. Guys, this is a really dumb build. Now, if Trigger just builds a robo, or even just more gateways, stalkers, and shield batteries, you can't really die to this. I wonder, does Oliveira build Widow Mines? It would be actually kind of cool to see Cyclone Widow Mine. That's like an old school one with the old Cyclone people used to do. I feel like it's just going to be mass Cyclone, though. I don't know if he's going to bother building anything else. There is a shield battery building on each base. Trigger, though, with only 2 gates, I worry that he won't have enough production. And it's always about the early trades in these scenarios. Like, do not lose a single gateway unit. That shield battery's not quite ready. 4 Cyclones on the way. And he's going to be building 6 Cyclones. You're kidding me. Oh, my God. He's just going... Okay, so, guys, Oliveira is basically doing what I call the Korean ladder special. If you guys play the Korean ladder, it is almost all crazy all-ins like this. That's like 90% of the ladder. And funnily enough, Trigger's walling off because he thinks it might be a Hellion drop, guys. Remember I was talking about Hellion drop? Trigger also thinks, well, obviously this is a Hellion drop. He doesn't realize this is a mass Cyclone all-in. The Robo and the third gateway in the wall. I mean, that gateway and the Robo is very weak. It only has 900 total hit points. Gateway has 1,000. For those who don't know, Factory, 1,250 hit points. Starport, 1,300. Terran confirmed broken. Cyclone and Reaper coming forward. Oh, that's a problem. Guys, he's only got 2 gates. He's going to lose one of them. He's going to lose one of them. Oh, okay. Stalker's starting to work on the SCVs. Battery overcharge does go down. Already the Adept falls. Not the most important unit. Blink is not ready yet. He's got to be real careful. Immortal needs to get chrono boosted, I would say. Stalker's doing okay on the micro. Mass SCV repair is pretty nice. The battery overcharge, though, is doing a lot. 2 Cyclones have already gone down now. He's going to try and kill another gateway. Back to 1 gate production is going to be a problem. I think Oliveira should have focused the Robo. I think he should have focused the Robo with the Cyclones as the first building. Oh, good volleying by Trigger. Trigger keeps one-shotting these Cyclones. Okay, he's lost lethality. He can't one-shot them anymore. He can't one-shot them. He's out of battery energy, but the Immortal pops into the action and says, Daddy's here. The Immortal blasts those Cyclones to Kingdom Come. Ooh. I think maybe if he focused the Robo down, he could have done it. Let's just take a quick look here. As Trigger is going to go up 2-0. Yeah, I think if he focuses the Robo first, guys, I think that's the better option. I don't know if it means he wins. This is a 1 base all-in, right? This is a huge all-in. But I think the Robo is the most important thing to get rid of in hindsight. Really well played by Trigger, though. And notice... It takes, is it 7 Stalkers to one-shot a Cyclone or 6? I think it might only be 6 because they don't have an armor, right? 6 times 18? No, it does take the 7th Stalker shot because that'd be 108, right? 108 hit points, not quite enough. So 7 Stalkers to one-shot Cyclones. And if they're already damaged, you only need 6. But look at that. Nice volleying from Trigger. Really well done. And look at the Immortal pop out in the middle of the fight. Very nice Immortal. Big Daddy Immortal blinks forward to shut it down. Well played by Trigger. Oliveira not able to take out Trigger with the nasty all-ins. All right. Going into the next game, we've got Serral coming out for Basilisk in the bottom left of Alcyon, up against Dark in the top right for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. And Dragon Kaiser Gaming have their work cut out for them. But if there was ever a man to start the comeback, it's Dark. The comeback man himself barely lost the finals of Pigfest. 3 wins for him, 4 wins for Serral when these two played against each other. Serral ended up winning that tournament, and Dark is going to go for a gold base hatchery first. Came down here with a drone, mined the minerals out. A very risky proposition. You can see Serral's already heading there with his Overlord. He's aware that this is a threat. He's already, you can see, told the Overlord to move on top of that pillar. Both sides have gone 16 hatchery into a gas and then a spawning pool. Now, my big question is, how many drones does Dark transfer to the gold base? The more you transfer, the more there is a massive initial loss of mining while you're moving down there, and then a big bump once you get the mining. So it's higher risk but higher reward, essentially. And knowing Dark, I think he might pull like 6 or more drones down there. 4 drones, 5 drones is probably a standard number, I would say. I have seen people pull 8 or 9 drones to the gold base immediately, which is kind of wild. And he's going to opt for 6 exactly. Okay. So not too crazy for Dark, but definitely a good number to boost that income. You can see the income dropping for Dark. And Serral's still on climbing. That gold base is going to be big. We're going to find out momentarily for Serral. This is his vision. What's going on? So he's queuing his overlords around. Starts his 2 queens, 2 zerglings. His queens do start about a second earlier than Dark's. And we will have to keep our eye on Dark's production. No overlord just yet for Dark. And looks like his ling speed should be starting. Overlord starts for Dark. Ling speed starts up. Serral's is a few seconds late. Oh! What? Serral's not making ling speed. Serral is not making ling speed. Alert, alert. Ladies and gentlemen, he is playing straight into roaches. He's going to go for a quick lair, I think. I think he's going to play a 2-base roach push. This is an old school Serral response that he used to use on Blackburn, the last gold base map we saw a lot of Zerg-versus-Zerg action on. Yeah, 4 queens. He's going to drone up like mad. And then he's going to go into a 2-base roach queen all in. Kind of like the Alpha Star build. He did this versus Lambo on Blackburn to win that tournament that Lambo did that video about a few years ago. Oh! I can't remember the exact name of the tournament, but it was a pretty big tournament. And this is really exciting, man. This is super exciting. Of course, this is carrying on the score from the previous series. Trigger winning the 2 games against Oliveira to put Basilisk up 2 games in the best of 7. Roach Warren's finished defensively. Dark's actually planning his own all-in. Dark's doing a Roach Ling all-in. While Serral's also planning a 2-base Roach push, it's a 40 or 44 drone Roach push. He's droning way too hard. He sees the Roach Warren. I mean, if he keeps droning, he might not be able to defend this. Those rocks are getting taken down. Serral's still droning right now. He's making a 3rd gas. Serral needs to full wall with Evos and build spines. He starts a spine crawler. He sees the roaches popping, but I don't know if it's in time. He needs to build an extra Evo. Pull the queens back. Wall off right now, Serral. If you don't wall off, you're screwed, man. He's just built 6 more drones just before this as well. I think he's dead. Those queens need to get inside that wall in right now. But that Evo chamber does not have a lot of time to build. The more hit points, the better. It's all about building roaches, overlords, roaches, overlords. Now, he starts +1 ranged. Very greedy for Serral. Is he going to get away with this? The amount of Zerglings coming by in this could be massive, but Dark's actually gone back to droning, taking a 3rd base. Oh, wait, Serral is actually canceling his spine? He realizes this is just a fake out. Serral with the next level reads. I thought Serral was being greedy, but apparently not. Evo chamber cancels, rebuilds, and then cancels. He's going to try and punish Dark for killing the upgrade, but he will lose that upgrade. No way to keep that alive here. Dark is so far behind, guys. This is a trash follow-up for Dark. He's still at 31 drones, even after transitioning this far. Okay, so he attacks. He kills an Evo chamber, and now he's just massing Roach Ling. He's got to hide these units from the Overlords. That's the most important thing, because if Serral sees more Lings coming out, he's going to easily stop this. The problem is, Serral's just massing roaches anyway and planning his own counterattack. The only way this works for Dark is if he hides Massling, comes in from 2 sides and surrounds Serral and lands massive corrosive biles on his army. Easier said than done. Overlord goes down on the left. Serral was looking for the biles on that Overlord. Doesn't quite get it. He's got these Ravagers coming forward. If he can bile the Overlords, that's pretty big, man. Any damage is good here, but good dodges by Dark. Very good dodges. Dark needs to surround with the mass Zergling right now. He's dropping creepers, Serral. He doesn't know how many Zerglings there are. There's not many Ravagers, though. Carapace is not quite ready. That being said, +1 range did get cancelled for Serral, so it doesn't really matter that upgrade against roaches. Massive surround coming in for Dark. He biles his own roaches. Oh, actually, no, those were Dark's biles. Beautiful corrosive biles for Dark. Nice surrounds, and Serral so committed to the aggression, he instantly taps. Bit of an early lead for Serral, let's be real, man. Serral super tilted at Dark, surprising, because Dark's like, in Serral's mind, Dark is droning out. You gotta look at this from Serral's vision, guys. He's like, Dark's at 50 plus drones. I gotta kill him now. I gotta kill him now. He was probably dead, don't get me wrong, because he's 2 base versus 3 bases with a gold. But being up 15 workers, he's mining so much more money, even with the gold base there, that there is still potentially a chance to get back in this game. I'm not saying it's a great chance. It's definitely not. Those biles and that surround were fantastic. But I would have liked to see him pull back and try to fight it out. Obviously, in Serral's mind, I guarantee you he misread this. I think he thought Dark had 40 drones as well. If he knew it was 30 drones, he definitely would agree. He should be staying in there, rallying back, trying to group up and trying to play it out. But Serral misreading the situation, and Dark with a crazy 30 drone mass roach ling build. Well played. All right, guys, Serral on the bottom right side, maybe left a bit early, but I think he was in a pretty bad position. Dark with the fake third base economic transition. What I really love about Dark's build in that last one is it's a double fake out. It's, oh, look, I'm taking the gold base. I'm being greedy. Surprise, roachling aggression. Serral starts building spines, walls off his base, then realizes it's only like 4 roaches and 12 Zerglings, and he's like, oh, this is not even that big a push. So you're like, and Dark's like, haha, I see. So it was a fake push. Now I'm being greedy. Serral's like, okay, you're being greedy. I'm going to punish you with my own push. Little does he know, Dark built like, what, 5 more workers and then just went back to mass units. He literally built a hatchery basically as a macro hatch, built a couple more drones, and then just went mass army again. So Dark's whole game plan was fake greed into fake aggression, into fake greed, into real aggression. And I gotta say, even me as the observer was a little slow to pick up on exactly where his focus was at some points there. So for the limited information Serral had, it's very understandable that his perception of where the game was at would have been wrapped up like a pretzel. ZVZ gets incredibly cerebral, where sometimes when someone plays like Dark with so many mind games, the trick is to pick a build before the game starts and follow it to the letter and react to nothing. Shout out to my man Eric out there from Brazil, who beat Dark 2 weeklies in a row and started the popularity of the 15 hatchery, 15 pool opening after doing that. They can't trick you if you don't actually look at your scouting or react to anything. That's why Zest was always a hard Protoss player to play against, because he very rarely reacted to anything he saw. He just kind of had a really awesome build mapped out before the game started, and he would only react to the most extreme things that he absolutely had to react to. If you can figure out players like that, their builds ahead of time, you could definitely take advantage of it. But usually they've got a pretty big range of builds that they choose from, so it's not as easy as just seeing one thing and going, oh, I know exactly what he'll be doing 5 minutes from now. Serral is up in workers a little in the early stages, both building a handful of Zerglings, a handful of Banelings, nothing too much. 3 queens are already out for Dark. 3rd queen is now starting for Serral. Moves this queen down. He'll try to put a tumor out to spread to the 3rd. The famous Serral Zergling scouts the main, sees nothing to be worried about just yet. Sees a few Zerglings popping out. That's worrying. He's like, oh, those aren't drones. Doesn't see any gases, and he spots the Roach Warren in the wall. Serral will build his own Roach Warren shortly. You don't want that more than 30 seconds behind your opponents, or you are in risk. And he's actually hiding it. Serral's planning to be aggressive. That's interesting. Or maybe to bait Dark into being aggressive. Ah. Yeah, Evo Chamber at the front. So Dark sees no Roach Warren, and that might convince him to build a whole big pack of roaches and go aggressive. Serral with the 300 IQ hidden Roach Warren in the back. Don't normally see that. Serral's building a lot of overlords. Looks like he's planning for a big aggression. I think that's a fake upgrade, guys. No, he starts droning. Never mind. Just making sure he doesn't get supply blocked. Meanwhile, Dark was sitting on 58 supply and was blocked for a little bit there. A new round of lava injects popping. Dark is now learning his lesson and building many, many overlords. You can hear the smile in my voice, I think, because it is kind of a meme that just keeps on delivering. Wow, Dark's really behind. Oh wow, Dark supply blocked. It just, you know, that's just Dark. We love him. Uh-oh, Lingbane on the left. Lingbane on the left. Watch out, Serral. He's going to trade the Banes, and he does. But Dark gets a snipe on the Queen. Very well done. Really well done there by Dark. Dark does not have a lair, though. What the hell? Dark has still not started the lair. His Zerglings are getting some very nice damage. I don't know how that Baneling didn't do anything there. Gets 2 drones. Really well done. He's got a few lings and a fake set of roaches moving across the map. 6 roaches moving out. Serral's making 2 spines. 3 spines. Serral's freaking out. He thinks he's getting all in right now. And Dark starts a very late lair and just continues droning really hard, taking all the gases. Another 2 drones just went down to more Zerglings running in. The roaches turn around. Serral, you need to cancel these spines, mate. Okay, Serral's canceling spines. He didn't cancel +1 or roach speed. He cancels the spine in behind the third and starts gases on his own third base. Serral was a little ahead on drones for a little while there, so I don't think this is too bad for him. He's also ahead on his upgrades, and with the Overlord speed, it's going to give him great vision and the ability to dodge any biles with his Overlords. Dark's building 9 Overlords because he's supply blocked again. Make it 10. He's building in a laser of Overlords right now. It's amazing. Dark is the people's champion. Clever mind games, super cerebral play, lacking fundamentals. Tropolord being morphed by Serral right now. He's going to do a roach drop. He's also making a second Evo chamber so he can add Carapace to time out with +2 range for big timing. Dark, on the other hand, says, screw that. I'm going to go for a Spire, man. Which I don't think Serral saw because it actually started after the Overseer came through. It's always the best time to build a hidden tech structure is right after their scout passes by that area. Usually going to be a little while till they try to scout there again. Serral's going to try and take the front 4th base, as is Dark. Dark's is a little behind, but not by much. Very similar roach counts on both sides. Dark has not started +2 range yet. I think even saving money for mutas, you probably still want that +2 range, because this is a roach muta style. Roach drop coming in on the natural. We've also got a little ling run by on the right side. Serral using the multi-prong nicely. Overseer scouts in the main, so he checks what's going on at the same time. Dark doesn't know if it's Banelings or not, so he runs away there. Loses 2 drones to the Zerglings. And the roach drop just kind of hanging out in the back, ready to drop that main. Dark not really responding to it. There we go. His roaches are nearby. They should be able to get there. Oh, it is actually Banelings. I thought that was a roach drop. Pig is a simpleton. 6 drones going down. That's including the 2 drones at the third. So nothing to write home about. It's absolutely fine. Hydroden's on the way for Serral. He's planning to play Roach Hydra here. There's no +2 range on the way yet for Dark. He's building 7 Mutalisks. 2-1 is not done for another 30 seconds, but Serral senses there might be an opening. Maybe. Dark's in a decent positioning, but a lot of his roaches were up in his main base. They weren't quite here. Overlord just saw that the army was smaller momentarily. Serral pounces, gets a decent little trade, runs in, runs out. Those Mutalisks are now coming forward, cleaning up Overlords and Overseers all around the map. Yeah, there's an Overseer up there. He definitely should send something to clean that. Changelings for Serral. The Overseer poops itself in fear. Does send those to get some scouting. Roaches and Ravagers clean it up. Another Overlord down here gets found. Dark will track onto it. Lots of value here with these Mutalisks. He's going to deny Serral's vision, put him in his corner of the map. But Serral is apparently just planning to do a mass Roach Hydra timing. He's got +2 at range, +1 Carapace done. He's going to add Tunneling Claws. He is droning his 4th base a little bit as well. Overlord goes down there as well as another Overlord in the main. It's 3 Overlords and a Dropalord and an Overseer going down so far. Dark is down 7 workers. He's finally started that +2 range, but an unnecessary delay on that. And this is the exact reason why. If he was only down a Carapace upgrade, he could fight right now. He could force some good engagements, but being down a +2 upgrade and a Carapace, essentially Dark's roaches are doing 3 less damage than Serral's roaches. You know? Here we go. Oh, Dark pushing up. Takes 1 or 2 big biles, both sides forced to disengage to dodge. Roach Hydra on the right, better angle for Dark. Does land a nice bile on top of Serral as well. Units lost tab is almost dead even at 3,000 each. +2 Carapace starts up for Serral. An amazing upgrade that'll really help him out. He's also got an Infestation Pit and he's got a 7th gas. So Serral can start kind of working his way towards Hive Tech. Second Evo Chamber starts up for Dark, but it's so late, it's not particularly useful. Hydroden Infestation Pit goes down for Dark as well. The Mutalisks continue to just vie for map control, but the extra income for Serral being up 9 workers, as well as the advantage on the upgrades and now the tech, Serral is simply in the better position. Dark would love to create some weirdness, but... Oh, right now he's only got 1 Overseer. It's just morphed there. Sneaky Roaches coming in the right side. I think they're a bit too close. If Dark... The Overseer's going to see it. Okay. He immediately does spot those Roaches coming in, but he doesn't notice the ones on the left. Oh, he does. He does. He splits up. Nice split up here for Dark, but he's got to be careful because he knows there's an attack on the front as well. Roaches trying to unburrow and run around a little bit there for Serral. Unburrows, tries to run into the natural, hiding Roaches in the main. Big attack on the front. Serral says, hey, if you have to split your Roaches up to defend all those bases, you probably have less units on the front. Let's take advantage of that. Nice positioning by Serral. Good biles by Dark. Really trying to do a great fighting retreat here. Mutalisks are going to try and join in the fray. You don't really want those Mutas to fight against those Hydras. There is enough Hydras, I believe, to take those Mutalisks down. That being said, Serral is trying to pull back right now, and the Mutas actually getting some really good value. Roach in the main base getting some damage. It looks like 6 drones went down here. Actually, Dark getting more worker kills. Does end up losing those Roaches, and these Roaches are still alive. A Spine Crawler in each mineral line, a nice way of trying to limit the damage those Roaches can do. Still 1 left in the main. Units lost tab is now in favor of Dark. 1,300 resources more efficient there. Dark's a clutch player under pressure, but his Hive is way behind. His Lurker Den's just starting, whereas the Lurker upgrades are on the way for Serral. Serral can make Vipers whenever he chooses to. He's got the 8th gas up, the gas bank building, and his 5th base on the way. He's also got more Tunneling Claw Harass and his first Lurkers starting to morph. I think I was going to say Lurkers starting to murph. Get the U's and the O's flipped around in those words like a big brain caster here. Professional talker, guys. What can I say? If I can do it, your dreams can come true too. Roach Ravager trying to hang out here. The Bile's landing on that. The 5th base does go down. Roach is unburrowing in this base as well. The Spine Crawler is going to go down. Roaches will find some damage, but can Serral hang on with the Lurkers? He definitely can. He loses his 5th base, but he kills a fair few drones, splits his Roaches up, and remember, guys, Dark doesn't use control groups properly. I say that, I know that sounds condescending. He just doesn't. He's got a big chunk of army on the front on a control group. He has no other army groups, so he doesn't control group his Overseers, and that's why he struggles with Tunneling Claw Roach harassment so much. The Roach Ravager's getting jumped on. Serral's on top of it right now. His Tunneling Claw Roach is running by. There is an Overseer on top of that, but you can see it got F2'd to the front momentarily before having to turn around. And this is where Dark gets trapped in redundant APM cycles. A guy like Serral, who's a bit more organized with his control groups, doesn't have to fix competing orders, whereas Dark, using F2 a lot, constantly has to fix competing orders, and that's where Serral's efficiency wins out. He gets the base, wins the fight on the front, and oh no. Oh no, he's gonna lose his Lurker Den before a single upgrade is finished. Oh no, not a single Lurker morphed. 4 Vipers now starting in desperation. Dark needs to rebuild that Lurker Den immediately, but he spent all of his gas on his Vipers. He doesn't even have the gas for the Lurker Den. He needs to rebuild that 4th base. He does clean up these Roaches efficiently, but a new army on the front for Serral. Serral is all over it right now. Serral's whole army back on 1 control group. He's still not using Vipers. He's just using raw numbers to push forward. Dark, on the other hand, Roach Hydra. He's got 4 Vipers building. He needs those Vipers. If he can use the Vipers to either abduct or Blinding Cloud all the Lurkers, he can win this fight. You notice Dark's trying to buy time. Vipers have just emerged. He needs to gather energy desperately. He's like, give me 30 seconds. My Vipers will be ready to fight. So he engages and then forces the Lurkers to burrow and pulls back. But every time Serral does this, he's getting Lurker splash off. He's forcing pretty good engagements. It's getting worse and worse for Dark. He's going to go for the Blinding Cloud engagement right now. He's only got 1 Blinding Cloud available on each one of these Vipers right here. They are pretty darn effective, though. Oh, that's not a bad fight, but the Lurk is very well pulled back by Serral out of the Blinding Clouds, and Serral also hits the top right base, kills 14 drones, and that knocks Dark back to the Stone Age. These Vipers just weren't there on time. As good as those Blinding Clouds were for Dark, it was because at the same time Serral was killing his top right base, and now Dark's back to his initial 3 bases, next to no income, and of course Serral is building Vipers of his own. You've also got to compare the upgrades, 3-2 versus 2-1, not to mention Carapace will be finishing soon. So Serral, off of these Evo chambers, will hit 3-3 very, very quickly, pre-15 minutes, and that's a very impressive timing. Lurker Hydra here, trying to gather up. The Vipers don't have energy yet for Serral. Oh, does it even matter, though? This is a desperate Blinding Cloud there for Dark. His army, his Hydras don't even have movement. Oh, not again! We've seen Dark in this position before, where he finds himself always in this late game. Because he was focusing on Roach, Lurker, Viper, he always forgets to make the Hydra movement speed, and then in the chaos, he always ends up at some point with a clutch Hydra counterattack, but he just doesn't have the mobility because they are missing that muscular augments upgrade. Serral does win the second game, and Basilisk retains a 3-1 lead, just 1 point from winning it all. Alright. herO is going to come out now for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. He's got to win the next 2 games in a row to force the ace match, the deciding match. And he's going to catch Reynor going for a 15 hatch, 15 pool. Oh, that hurts. Reynor going to wish he went for the 14 hatch this game. This is curious. We haven't seen Reynor go 15 hatch very often, even though it's an amazing build for this matchup. I do feel if you have to take the third, it is nowhere near as good. It's way better when you could just take it straight away. And he's not doing... He ended up going Overlord when he got blocked. I don't think this is a great response for Reynor. I'm not sure if Reynor's ever been blocked with this build. I do think the moment you see the probe, you should drop a spawning pool in the main and then try to fight the probe and like force it to put a pylon down and then just go take the third if you have to. But I think even though your spawning pool is not going down on 200 minerals, it's actually still a very well-timed spawning pool and you can get queens out really early and start injecting. This is going to be gas going down at a minute 14. Spawning pool at a minute 18. Not particularly well timed on that. And that's why if herO chronos adepts across the map, I really like his chances of doing damage. I wouldn't have minded him going Cybercore before Nexus. But even with a Nexus into Cybercore, you're still going to have a good window before Link Speed finishes to get some damage. herO being annoying with his probe as always. And I love that he's kind of sent one of his very first probes across to get this block on the hatchery. I really feel against guys like herO, you just want to make sure you go and take that that third base immediately. I played herO last week in the weekly cup, and he did this to me as well. He just blocked my attempt to take a 15 hatchery. I immediately panicked, built an Overlord, went and took my third base, and I felt like the opening was so bad. I would like if you're doing a 16 hatchery opening and you get forced to take the third, it is not as bad as this. So the whole point of a 15 hatch is to try and get it down before they can block you. But Reynor definitely finds himself on the worst end of the openings. I'm sure he'll handle it a lot better than I did. herO ended up killing me 2 games in a row, basically with his Adept Oracle harass. It was uncomfortable. You know, it felt like he was running circles around me and just slapping me in the back of the head repeatedly, and I was very aware of just how good his Adept Oracle harass is compared to a pleb caster like myself. Probe does see the third base go down, unable to get a pylon down in time. It's good play by Reynor. Getting the third blocked is extra frustrating in this scenario. Overlord is building after that third base. He's only got 2 queens, and you do need to be wary with this build to start your next 2 queens pretty soon. But it's actually a Void Ray first, not an Oracle for herO. Interesting. Good micro on the Lings to make sure none of those go down. Adept only takes minimal damage and backs off, and the other Adept actually stayed at home to make sure Zerglings could not get into the base. Second gate coming in, Void Rays on the way. Probes pumping on out. So the natural expands well, doing pretty well right now. Adept comes in and tries to get the tumor, but not quite able to. Already 2 tumors active, 2 queens in the main. No spore on this third, and this 4th queen I feel is a little late. If this was an Oracle, might have had a window to get in there. But as it is, just Void Ray before Oracle, very conservative opening. And those Lings, I think it's worth attacking that Adept there personally. But going to keep the Lings alive to deny the probe instead, probably the higher value. Overlord's going to go down. Actually, wait. Did he not know it was a Void Ray? There's Overlords everywhere, herO. Free pickups for herO. herO's not watching, though. Oh, herO misses a free kill there. Reynor could run that Overlord home now, but he's going to get this one as well. He goes back and gets that Overlord. That'd be a nightmare. You can see Reynor's pulling it back to the left now. herO's third base is finally building. Oracle needs to turn its laser beam on. Saves the Adept. Not a bad start for herO, even though the third did get delayed. He's got a Twilight Council, second Oracle on the way, saturating his natural gases. And Spore Crawler starts to go down. Natural and third base for Reynor. 43 drones versus 42 probes. Very similar numbers. Oh, okay. We've got people in the live chat confused as always. This is the WTL match, Basilisk versus Dragon Kaiser Gaming, for those just tuning in. Voidray moving down the left. Guys, there's no forge. Is this a blink all-in? This is old school. It's a 7-gate blink all-in. He's not even building probes on his third right now. I'm sure he will start that up in a second. There we go. But he's really looking to just deny scouting. Then he's going to hit a giant blink all-in with no upgrades. herO is going for a very old school and simple timing attack, maybe feeling he's a bit ahead in this game and that he can just push. Reynor has not got an Evo chamber. He does not have an upgrade going. He's basically just making roaches defensively, trying to macro up. Does feel like Reynor's a little behind, but if he just keeps making army off this count, I think he's in a great position to defend. He's making Overlord speed. Wait. Is Reynor planning to do a Roach Queen Ling all-in? Because the Overlord speed is way too late for this to make any sense. If Reynor's doing a German taxi, this is a dark level German taxi. This is a very low level of execution from Reynor. It is. This is an incredibly late timing, and it's going to get hammered by herO's build. herO is actually just massing Stalkers and Sentries. For some reason, he's probing and taking a gas now. I think he somehow knows what Reynor's up to. Somehow he's read what's going on in this game. I mean, he shouldn't be attacking into Reynor, but Reynor's timing is incredibly late. Like, if you attack in and get surrounded, Reynor's army can do well, but if Reynor attacks into you, you can do very well. Whoever defends wins here. That's the way it normally goes. See, Reynor does lose a queen on that third, starts to come forward, files the stasis trap, takes it out. The queens are trying to go across the map rather than using them to help defend, which means the Void Ray is going to get some insane value. Reynor really looking past this timing. He's got to deal with what's in front of him. His queen drops going across the map is a crazy move. This Void Ray is getting insane value right now. Reynor? What are we doing, mate? He's going to queen drop a mineral line, like a warping of units or a recall. Those get shut down. herO needs to just back out of his timing and go to the next stage of the game, and he'll be way ahead. Queen drop going into 2 mineral lines at once. I mean, it's an adorable play. It's cute. It's fun. Is it effective, though? Bile takes down both Oracles and the Void Ray! No way! herO just lost both Oracles and a Void Ray to Corrosive Bile while being distracted by the Queens. I take it all back, guys. The ridiculous doing a poo with an Overlord in both of his bases to distract the maneuver, it shouldn't have worked, but it did work. Sometimes that's how StarCraft happens. The Stalkers are getting overwhelmed at the front at the same time. herO, oh no! Oh no! He's getting overwhelmed in a position which should have been advantageous. This is crazy. I can't believe these queens are still doing okay in the natural as well. He's already killed 7 probes. On the front, the Stalkers and the Roaches and the Ravagers skirmishing. This is such a close fight. What an absolute disaster of a game this is. I don't know who's winning or losing. I know it is pure chaos, and whoever can handle that better may come out on top. Biles landing on Warping and Zealots, taking them out. The queens are somehow still alive in the natural. He's still transfusing. He's still transfusing in the midst of microing the front. He finally misses a few transfuses. The Stalkers overwhelm. 18 probes have gone down, but Reynor's entire army does fall. He's got a 4th base just started by this. He did not have Roach speed this whole time? Wait, what? I guess because it was kind of like a Ravager Queen Zergling all in. Reynor hit that very late. That might have actually helped him that he hit it late, because it gave herO the time to move across and attack into him, which did kind of favor Reynor there. At the end of the fight, though, the Stalkers did very well. There's not many Roaches up right now. Reynor's kind of droning. That's a lot of Zealots. Oh, he might just be caught sleeping a little bit. Reynor not thinking the counterattack would be this hard. There is no +1 attack on those Zealots, at least, so they don't do that much damage to the Zerglings. The Stalker's blinking forward. herO is just absolutely on aggressive crack right now. Only 50 probes, but if you can get enough value out of the army that's out right here, right now, it doesn't matter. Reynor, if he had a big ball of Roach Ravager up, I think he could crush these Zealots, but he doesn't have that. And he's actually getting overwhelmed by a crazy attack. I always talk about herO vs. Dark being an absolutely baffling barn burner of a series, because every time they play, you don't know what the hell's happening. Turns out Reynor herO today is in the same vein of what the heck is going on in this game. Stalkers and Zealots continuing to come in. I think he's got enough numbers. The drones are fighting a Zealot in the 3rd right now. This is a big problem. The Roaches just cannot get their numbers together. Reynor here with a bizarre late German taxi up against herO's no forge mass blink proxy gateway timing. This is a matchup of 2 very aggressive players, and it looks like herO is just barely coming out on top. The Roaches gathering on the ramp, trying to get together, but there's Zealots in the third, and that's where the damage is happening. Queens are popping out and dying before they can gather up, and that's the problem. Zealots are so good in these scrappy scenarios. Stalkers also very good at maneuvering around in small fights. If Reynor gets a big army together, the Zealots fall off. But Reynor there does end up losing a very, very scrappy game. It looked like Reynor forgot his Overlord speed that game. As you could see, about 5 minutes 30, when his lair finished, he kind of realized, oh, I forgot Overlord speed. And he starts it up. Right at the moment when you'd normally be morphing the Overlord, or 2 Overlords, putting the Queens in it, and rallying across with these Roaches. So he was 40 seconds plus late on his attack. And you know what? If he'd already shown his attack first, he would have been obliterated by this 7-gate blink play, and it would have been game over even harder. So Reynor's mistake maybe kind of made things better for him. I don't know. It's a real messy game. Really interesting one. Let's also just very quickly show you the Corrosive Bile that I missed because there was so much going on. I really do think he should have just defended with the Queen drop. Maybe just sent some Lings across to counterattack the third if he wanted to. You're going to see in a moment, though. Check this out. Here it is. Oh, okay, so the Void Ray flew into the Queen and the Spore, and then those 2 Oracles were just standing there while he was defending at home. Big mistake for herO. GG's. herO keeps Dragon Kaiser Gaming alive. Well played. All right, keeping Dragon Kaiser Gaming alive in the top right side, we've got herO here, and he's going into equilibrium against Reynor. Is Reynor going to take the gold base? He's not sending the drone out early enough. Looks like he's not going to risk the gold base. I thought we might see a gold base risk. Now, this map is... Originally, we all said it was going to be god tier for Zerg versus Protoss because you have a gold base with a purple gas. And it's pretty far from the Protoss, hard for them to push into it. Even though it has a nice ledge above it they can harass from, it's really hard to get across here and kill the Zerg. The problem we've run into is that MaxPax has a really high win rate on this map, never vetoes it, and actually really enjoys it. And that's made me realize, wait a second, is it the fact that it's so big and hard to push across, it kind of feels like Protoss players can still harass and slow down a gold base from really getting that much value with like Oracle Adept. And then it's hard to actually kill the Protoss. And that's all Protoss cares about in this matchup is, can I get to the big killer army and crush you, especially against a guy like Reynor. There's a very easy win condition against Reynor and Dark, guys that don't really ever make hive units, which is make a certain critical mass of Archon, Disruptor, Colossus. You can't really lose. I say this knowing full well that herO has never in his life played that style. herO only knows one version of PvZ. It's attack and try to kill my opponent. He gets way ahead, and herO's biggest way of throwing in this matchup is basically getting a lead and then shoving his whole army on creep, getting it surrounded by Banelings, and losing a game that was within his grasp. Now, I'm being very critical there. I'm kind of joking as well. It's not that extreme. But he is opening very aggressive here, and I like it. He's gone core before Nexus, chronoing Adepts across the map. He really wants to pile on the aggression. He's going to come in now. And I think this is, he was expecting a gold base. So he's basically, without even scouting, he's planned a counter build that would get Adepts over there and ruin any attempted gold mining. Stargate does come in behind this. He did cancel the Warp Gate research. That'll restart in just a moment. I think the scariest thing for herO is that for a lot of players, carriers usually mean they're a big advantage, yet I feel like herO, when he builds carriers, it's almost like he's typing GG. The last 6 months, basically this whole year, herO's carrier play has been some of the worst carrier play I've ever seen in this matchup. And that goes hand in hand with him being one of the best PvZ ground players in existence. You give him the first few carriers mixed with a ground army, he's still very effective. But once he gets to a heavy carrier army, he's very indecisive with it, or overly decisive, and throws the army away at bad times. So unlike a guy like Classic, who I think is very methodical in that later stage, Creator as well, herO, you're looking for advantages earlier, harder, and faster. And guess what? He just lost his first Adept. The third base is going down in the normal position. He's invested in a pylon to block a base that never even got built. Reynor is happy to play a standard build here, and Dark is so afraid of that gold base that he is over-committing to stopping it. And this is a stark contrast to what I've seen MaxPax do on this map. MaxPax basically just does a normal build with some normal Adept Oracle harassment, and it is such a fantastic way of putting on pressure without overcommitting. Whereas I think basically herO made a big gamble. He said, you're going to rush the gold base, I'm going to punish it. And now Reynor didn't go for the gold, and he's like, okay, well, you're going to take it as a third, I'll block it. He didn't go for it as the third, he just took the other base. Even if he intended to, Reynor is playing flexibly and adapting, and herO right now is coming off the worst in these trades. Worker count still reasonably even between the two, but herO hitting a supply block on 46. Whoa! Oh no, because he had the pylon on the other side. He looked at his supply and he forgot to build his pylon. Guys, being supply blocked on 46 is bad. Reynor was already pulling ahead in the drones. Now he's getting massively ahead. Oh, hero's build is falling apart. I was going to say he's not too far behind about 20, 30 seconds ago. And now I look at it, I'm like, oh, he's miles behind. It's a very bad opening for him. And I think the fear of the map getting to herO a little bit. So fascinating to see the different strengths players have on each of these. Second Stargate goes down. Are we seeing Mass Phoenix? Or are we going to go for carriers? It might be a single Phoenix to deny scouting. There's no fleet beacon, so maybe it is just Mass Phoenix. Overlord's going to get in there if he doesn't turn that around. herO, you got to turn that around, mate. Oh, he wasn't watching. He didn't see it. He doesn't know there's an Overlord there, guys. Oh, it's going to get a free scout on the second Stargate. Oh, herO! Dragon Kaiser Gaming needs you to win this game to force Serral out in the ace match to force that final game. I think Dragon Kaiser... you know, it's a shame. Going 1-to-1 with Serral for Dark. herO is at least going 1-to-1 with Reynor. They've got to be regretting that Oliveira lost Trigger so badly at the start of this series. Oh, good queen micro. Stasis Trap was really big there, but an Oracle goes down. And it does feel like herO has not found the mark on his aggression. Units lost tab well in Reynor's favor. Reynor's starting a gold base. Reynor knows he's ahead and he's going to take advantage. Stasis Trap ain't going to do jack. 2 Phoenix coming in there. I do like that after the Stargates got scouted, herO is no longer investing in them, realizing that Reynor will be ready for it, but it just means his Forge and Twilight is very late, and he's going to be doing a very suboptimal style. He's now attacking with 7 non-glaive Adepts. But I think with a few more Zerglings, Reynor should be fine to deal with it. He's just a little supply block due to the Phoenix. Let's see what herO can make out of this game. herO may be known for throwing leads. He's also known for making epic comebacks that no one else would be able to make. So do not count him out. Adept shading forwards. Definitely wants to cancel that. Cancel it! Oh, he's going to continue with 2 of them. But there we go. Nice. Cancel into recall. Robo's on the way, as well as charge. +1 attack. And looking for the gold base. I think we're going to see an attempt to do an Archon Disruptor transition here. Yeah, Templar Archives goes down. Zealot Archon Disruptor is a pretty good comp. I think herO realizes that he's very open and vulnerable right now, but because Reynor's still a little worried about the 2 Stargates, he might have time to start that 4th base and build that economy to that next step. Building gateways in rather odd positions right now. No wall-offs on these bases. We've got Overlord Speed, Mass Roach, and Mass Queen on the way. Is Reynor just going to shove Mass Roach here? He's got a good economy, man. Gold base is up, 71 drones pumping away. Nothing in the wall! herO! Oh, man. Caught with his pants down, as he always is. herO and leaving his door wide open, and murderers, a gang of murderers armed with shotguns and machetes coming into his house in the middle of the night. Name a more iconic duo. This man, oh man. He's basically Liam Neeson from Taken, but in his old age, he's sick of having to go out to hunt the criminals, so he just leaves piles of valuables and like trails of like gold and $100 bills leading in his front door and waits behind the door in his rocking chair with his shotgun across his lap. Except in this case, the shotgun wasn't loaded, and he basically just loses 15 probes for no reason. An absolute disaster of a build order for herO. And it is, once again, you know, for those who aren't super big fans of watching tons of herO games, you might not be familiar with this. This is what we call the dichotomy of herO. The dichotomy of herO is some of the most amazing plays you've ever seen, mixed with some of stuff that makes you just think, is this guy an amateur? What is he possibly doing? How is he doing this? Reynor is keeping things simple. He's saying, I'm going to make a North America of Ravagers. I'm going to make a shiz ton of Queens. And we're going to move across this map and take out the Archons, take out the Zealots. 1 Disruptor is not going to block this at all. And he realizes that herO just cannot defend these numbers. The Overlords are going to lay down the purple carpet, allowing those Queens to spread creep, move forward, and transfuse. The Biles are going to be a massive problem for herO to deal with. First Disruptor shot being held back right now. Oh, the gateways get depowered in the natural. Nicely done. First Disruptor shot doesn't land that significant a hit. Second one goes out, gets 3-4 Ravagers. Nice Disruptor shot. But it is 1 nice Disruptor shot in the midst of a swarm of Zerg. There's just too many of them, man. We can't hold them back. For some reason, Protoss sound like a teenager with a testy pop that's being conscripted into a war zone. But being on the losing side of a battle like this, up against the Zergy Horde, the Tentacle Horde, it's not a great experience no matter which side you're on. herO gets gunned down, overwhelmed, and I gotta say, it all comes back to his choice. At the start of this game, he gambled, and he gambled big. The man did not scout. He went Cybercore before Nexus, assuming there was going to be a gold base. And then he went across, found no gold base, and went, oh, okay, well, I'm going to still be really, really obsessed with doing damage. He dove in with the Adept, loses that first Adept for, remember, no damage. He gets a single Zergling, and then he builds a pylon here, which is totally unnecessary. The pylon also makes him forget that he hasn't actually built a pylon at home. So when it goes down, he gets massively supply blocked on 46, and his entire build is in the dumps from the very start. And this was just a clean defense by Reynor, and herO kind of beat himself in this game. Reynor played well, don't get me wrong, but he didn't need to do anything special, because simply by picking a build order that didn't involve rushing the gold base, seeing the pylon, reactively taking a more normal third base, Reynor played standard, and herO just got caught off guard. I mean, it was mistake after mistake, letting the Overlord in as well. At the end of the day, though, shout out to Trigger, who set this victory up. Reynor goes 1-1, Serral goes 1-1, Trigger goes 2-0, and he's actually the big difference maker that allows them to win 4-2 against Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Shout out to Basilisk and Dragon Kaiser for an awesome series. GG, thanks for watching.